You've been drinking, you start driving, right? Maybe you were at a restaurant with family, maybe it was a birthday party, but you had one too many drinks and you decided, screw it, I'm gonna drive home anyway. A cop pulls you over only to find out that you're one of his own. You're a cop as well. This happens all the time. A lot of people that are cops like to end their day with a couple beers while they're watching TV, getting ready for tomorrow, right? So today I watched this video that was really disappointing, yet very entertaining, because it kind of showed you that when cops get in trouble, they are not beyond trying the same tactics that common criminals and alcoholics do. Begging, pleading, threatening, all of the above.
Rutz was arrested over the weekend on DUI charges. A neighbor called 911 Sunday morning saying Rutz was honking her horn. Deputies responded to Wild Acres Road in Largo, where they found Rutz driving in reverse.
So the first person we're going to take a look at is 20-year veteran of Pinellas County. She was actually part of the Public Records Processing Department. Her name is Christy Rutz. Christy's neighbor actually called the police on her because apparently she couldn't ignore the fact that Christy was honking her horn incessantly. And when the cops came to figure out what was going on with Christy, they found her driving backwards through the neighborhood, drunk as a skunk. 20 years down the tubes because she was fired almost immediately. The second person was the one that I thought should have been the last. She was the most amazing. We'll give it to you second here. Her name is Linda Norris. This lady is 59 years old, and she's actually the vice mayor of Oldsmar. Get this, the cops gave her a DUI because they caught her driving erratically in her red Tesla car, right? But here's the crazy thing. She didn't get a first DUI. It was her third DUI. She refused to take a breathalyzer test and she failed the field sobriety test.
They say she wouldn't take a breathalyzer and did not pass the sobriety field test. You can see her here with her head in her hands. Deputies say they found 3 bottles of booze in her car, including an open bottle of Fireball in the center console.
What they did was they actually spoke to the actual mayor. His name is Eric Seidel, and what he said blew me away.
Right now, Norris is still the vice mayor of Oldsmar, but the mayor says he hopes she resigns. He says right now they don't do background checks for elected officials, but he says they may start.
Isn't that crazy? You want to get a job at the corner working for a business that's been there since you were a kid, you've got to go through a series of background checks. But if you want to be vice mayor of Oldsmar, you don't even have to take a background test. I find that freaking amazing. One of the things that I've been aware of since I was a little toddler. Hi, how are you? One of the things that I've been aware of since I was a little kid is that there's nepotism, there's favoritism, right? And there's stuff that just isn't fair. If you do something wrong, the cops are more than likely not going to care how much you beg or plead. But here's the crazy thing. When they get in trouble, they do the exact same thing. The next person we're going to look at is 37-year-old Samantha Quiddig.
In cuffs, she makes a plea to be let go.
You and I are on the same level. Like, we do the same thing. Give some discretion and say, okay, she made a mistake.
Several minutes of begging to be let go finally elicits a response from the deputy.
I'm just giving you the ride. Your actions got you there.
Did I not say that I made a mistake? I made a mistake.
Guys, she's a 15-year veteran doing child investigation. She's the actual supervisor of the child investigation unit with Pinellas County. She was actually arrested by one of her fellow officers. Once she got in the car, she actually said to him, and I quote, "We do the same thing. You should take discretion and you should say that one of your fellow officers made a mistake." And he goes, sorry, that's on you. And so he's gonna let her go to jail and get in trouble, and rightfully so. You know, I don't know about you, but when I look at people doing crimes, I don't say, well, it's only bad because they're this type of person. Every person doing crime should have to pay for their wrongdoing. I can't talk today. Oh my God, why is being a YouTuber so damn difficult? Arizona, where it's 110 degrees and I can't even speak. Basically, we've got 4 losers here. The final loser was a guy, 55-year-old Keith Shiflett. He's been working for the Central Florida charter bus service for the last 8 years. He's actually considered one of their senior drivers. Guess what he did? He was responsible for taking 30 seniors from Sebring High School and 6 chaperones, which I assume were the parents, right? And he was driving so erratically while they were going to a water park for senior day that 2 of the kids that were on the bus actually called their parents that were driving on the freeway alongside the bus. And they were so scared and freaked out that these 2 parents decided to go ahead and take their vehicles and position themselves in front of the bus to force the bus driver to stop.
Meantime, Freddie and Giselle Diaz, who were traveling in their own car, get a panicked call from their daughters who were on board the bus.
We can hear the kids screaming in the background. We can hear everybody screaming in the background. So we kind of took off.
And with no hesitation, they jumped into action, putting their own vehicle in the bus's path to get the driver to stop.
If something would have happened, I couldn't even forgive myself.
They had remarked that he was driving so erratically, they thought that he was having some sort of medical issue. Now, could you imagine that? You're going to your senior celebration day with your fellow classmates, right? And all of a sudden, your life is in danger, not because of anything that you or your classmates did, but because the guy driving the bus decided that today was going to be the day that he was going to drive all being totally shit-faced. God, it'd be nice if I could read. If I only could read. I always tell myself I'm going to write little notes here, and then I write so bad that I can't even read my handwriting. Holy moly. There's a song that I always like saying, and I don't even know the lines to it. I just know one, like the chorus line where it says, and nothing comes easy. That's how life is for me. Nothing seems to come easy. And with YouTube, it sucks. Because if you make a sucky video, people don't watch. And even worse, when you make the occasional good video, nobody watches either. The algorithm is so unfair. I did a video the other day about the woman that ended the life of her supervisor at McDonald's. And I made a damn good video. 35 of you people watched. I got 7 likes on it, and then it died. And then over the next 2 or 3 days, I saw 5 or 6 other YouTubers make a similar video where they all got tens of thousands of views. Jesse, does this mean Jesus doesn't love you? No, it just means Jesus doesn't answer prayers and life isn't fair. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go take control of a bus and get drunk and ruin people's lives. Sometimes you're going to be the asshole where things don't work for you. What are you going to do about it? I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to walk. All through my life, I've had people get favoritism from the job and leapfrog ahead of me. I've seen people handed shit at work and just make more money from me. I've seen partners cheat on me, partners steal from me, right? I've seen everything. And what I do to fix it all, I go on a daily walk. If you're rich, but you drop dead tomorrow, and I'm average or poor even, and I live for another 50 years, then by golly, I don't give a shit. I win. I win.
Friends, you've arrived at the right place. This is Jesse, and he'll be our guide for today. Welcome to Walk Talk.
Most millionaires are gonna die with more than $1 million in the bank. My game plan is to live. I don't know about you. Michael Jackson died at what, age 50? In another month or so, I'm going to be 49. And in another year after that, I'm going to be 50. And every single year after that, I'm going to tell myself, hey, I outlived Michael Jackson. I outlived Prince. I outlived a lot of the famous people that I watched growing up. I didn't necessarily live longer than them because they might have lived a long time. But there's more important things in this life than life being fair and life being cushy and fun. Some of us are designed to enjoy the not so fair parts. I am that guy. Why did God make you like this, Jesse? Because he needs somebody to tell you when your life's not going the way you want it to, that it's okay. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be a successful YouTuber. Sometimes you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. It's just the way it is. You still have to make a decision that you want to do good things in this world and not bad things. And the best way we can do that is to quit trying to stop the outside world from doing its thing. And you want to start with the man in the mirror. That's always the key. So even when I bitch, whine, and moan, the reason I'm doing it is to let you guys know that's why I walk. That's why the walk must go on. Somebody today is at a casino winning tens of thousands of dollars. They're on top of the world. Somebody today, hi, how are you? Somebody today is at their doctor's office getting horrible news. So someone's at the top of the world right now, someone's at the bottom. No matter what you do, you still have to find a way to make it through your day. You still got to pay your bills. So you just smile and you keep moving forward, put on those damn shoes, hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe. Let's quit calling it the thumbs up button. Hit that you like the damn video. Quit being so damn cheap with the like button, will ya? Sarah's weight loss journey. This person that left the comment, her name is Sarah's weight loss journey. I know this sounds crazy, but isn't that one of my Venter subscribers? Didn't we do a video on Sarah's weight loss journey? Her question or comment says, I remember when I was a kid, my Aunt Becky, who was a Tampa officer, would have parties at her house, and everyone that was there was a police officer. And they were drunk, and they were driving home. It's a lot more common than people realize. I've met a lot of cops, and I've been at a lot of family get-togethers, and they are the coolest people, but they don't stop at one beer. They usually drink a handful, and most of them keep their wits about themselves. I always marvel at how some people can drink one or two little drinks and they act like a crazy fool. Meanwhile, other people can drink 10, 11 beers and they almost act the same. That's the scary person. The fool is just drinking too much and they're going to fall asleep, right? The scary person is the guy that doesn't think he is drunk, that thinks he is okay to drive. And a lot of times when it comes to police officers, especially male police officers, they kind of have a big ego. So again, this doesn't amaze me at all. What does amaze me is that these same cops that'll never let you talk yourself out of your ticket will actually go out and drive drunk. Just seems really amazing to me. We know it happens, but it still seems crazy. Railfan XQ2HQ says, an officer drunk and lying on the job. Typical thin blue line behavior. In 6 months, he will turn up in another county without a record. Railfan, what you say there really does scare me because I know it's true. When cops get in trouble with the law, some way, somehow, through their connections, they're almost always able to get another police job. I don't understand that. In order to be a policeman, you should have a record that is immaculate. So if you get pulled over as a cop and you get a DUI, or you get some sort of domestic violence charge, which sometimes happens too, right? You have your cop family look the other way. I think you should be banned from any sort of policing job in the future. And I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on that too. Do you think when cops actually break laws that they should be able to keep their job, or should they actually have to surrender their badge? I think when it comes to public DUI and domestic violence and shit, I don't think that's behavior becoming of an officer. I think that is behavior that says that person needs to be fired. Richard Burke, 454, says, just another bunch of quality cops and public employees. Does it really surprise anyone? The best ones are the ones where it's like the mayor and the governor and the commissioner, right? Because a lot of times they are drunk as a skunk. And instead of trying to talk their way out of a crime, a lot of times they're rude, belligerent, and they end up threatening the police officer. Then, when you do a deep dive, you end up finding out that they never got in trouble. Those are the things that are scary. That's where we should have teams just ready to jump in there and audit that. And what they ought to do is they ought to find out who exactly looked the other way, and those people ought to be fired. So in other words, you should actually not be able to look the other way. If your officer does something, you should be forced to treat them no different than any Tom, Dick, or Harry breaking the law. You should not get special treatment. That's the problem with this world. There's too many groups that want special treatments. No special treatments anywhere. And I mean even in pleadings. You know, if you're telling people in the court, if you're telling the judge special information to get you a lighter sentence, I don't think we should allow that anymore. I really don't. Too many murderers getting off with 7 and 8 year sentences. That's not a deal. That's winning the lottery, and that's ridiculous. At Tinks82 says, imagine working hard every day so these people get their paid suspensions when we would be locked up and probably fired. That's another thing they should get rid of. If you're under investigation, unpaid suspension. If after that investigation they find that you were innocent, then reinstate it. Quit giving these people the equivalent of a paid vacation off when they deserve to be truly fired. And if you are truly fired, you should have excessively heavy fines. I think if you're a police officer or a person in public office, I think your fine should probably double or triple. That's not very fair, Jesse. Life isn't fair. I already mentioned that earlier. At Smitty 5890 says, the vice mayor of Oldsmar, this is her 3rd DUI. These are who we are electing. This says more about the voters than the people we're putting in office. I agree. If somebody's running for office, the first thing they should tell you is that they've got 3 DUIs. Or in her case, she probably had 1 or 2 when she went in there. That should make it where you're not eligible. That should make it where you are banned from public office. I don't even think people with criminal records should be able to run for public office, because it's not like they're disclosing that. And if they do disclose it and only 1 out of 100 voters knows about it, that's not much of a disclosure. How about this? You've got a DUI. You're somebody that literally put people's lives at risk. You don't get to run for vice mayor. Jamila Moran, 7619 says, rules for thee, but not for me. City employees think they're above the law, including cops. Well, I can tell you one thing. If you guys watch this video, you're going to be very proud, because none of these people were above the law. But they all would have gladly taken a get out of jail free card, just proving that we as human beings are the most hypocritical things on the planet. Don't be hypocritical. I walk out here every day, no matter how miserable my channel is, no matter how many of you don't watch, and I think if you copied me, you'd be in good shape to live for a long time. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe leave a comment for once, because I'm sure you've heard of a cop drinking on the job before. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.